Well, we got this food plot worked up today. We brought in the big guns, and I'm glad we did because this plot was pretty hard. It hadn't been worked up in quite a few years. So now we're out here dragging the fuller, trying to get a level seed bed.
For this food plot, I went with Max Attract and Ultra Forge. This has really become one of my favorite mixes of two different blends, and the reason for that is the full season attraction that it gives. I'm looking at hunting this plot from October 1st, potentially all the way up into January, so I really need something that's keeping those deer coming back all season long. The cereal grains and the winter peas and the Max Attract are going to be super palatable there early season, then the brassicas of the Ultra Forge are really going to shine during those late season cold fronts. And both of these blends also have clover and chicory in them, which is great there in the fall, but what I really like about it is it comes back in the spring for the deer to feed on then, and it also makes a great food plot to hunt turkeys out of.
So I get asked a lot how to use these broadcast spreaders with such small seed. What I always tell everybody is to put it on the smallest setting that the seed will come out, and then walk your food plot back and forth one way. And then when you get back and your bag's empty and you have more seed that needs to go in the plot, put it back in, walk the food plot the other way. It works a lot better that way than getting halfway across your food plot and you run out of seed because you had your seed too far open. So I just got done hanging a set here on this food plot that I just planted yesterday, and I'm gonna take you guys kind of how I foresee the hunt playing out and why I put a tree stand in that location. So back behind me here is bedding, and there's this old logging road that worked its way out. So there's a bunch of rubs on this road heading out towards this food plot, so I'll show you guys that. So this here is coming out that road from bedding towards the food plot, and it's definitely a grown-up road, but the deer still travel it. There's rubs there. Rubs. Old rub there. Rub. And as they work their way out here from the bedding, got a vine scrape right here. So they come around, hit this scrape, coming out here to the food plot, and then tree stand is set right up there. It's probably about, probably right at 20 yards from that tree stand to the scrape here. I'll come head out. And this is just kind of the very end of the food plot, kind of a little secluded. It's got left a couple trees in here, but then there's the rest of the food plot. So even if they don't come right out in this corner, that tree stand, I can look over the rest of the food plot. So here's the view from the tree stand. Right there in that gap is where that scrape is, and then they got the rest of the plot there. I might have to do a little bit more trimming right up in here so I can see this other edge of the plot. I'm gonna leave this limb here and this limb here kind of for cover to kind of break me up in this tree, but I'm gonna go ahead. I seeded this yesterday, but I'm gonna throw a couple more radishes here in this corner just to kind of sweeten it up a little more, try to get them in bow range. But super happy with this tree stand. Just gotta figure out where to put my camera arm, because I'm gonna be shooting here off of my left shoulder, and I normally have my camera on my right side so I can control it with my bow in my hand over here, and I can control the camera with my right hand. But I don't know if I'll be able to get the camera all the way around me and be able to draw, so I have to figure out a way to mount the camera. I might leave it right over here and just leave it pointing in this angle so I can turn it on and just let it be. But I'll have to get the camera arm up here and kind of experiment with what I think will work best, but I think it's gonna be a good spot for this fall. So I hope you guys stay tuned and see if we can't kill a nice one out of here.
What's going on, guys? We are here in Mississippi today. It is hot. my truck's at 100 degrees whenever I got out of it a few minutes ago. So it is steaming hot here in Mississippi today. But I wanted to turn on the camera here for a few minutes and show y'all. I'm kind of looking at some early season bow hunting spots. So I wanted to show you, this is a traditional spot that I've hunted a lot over the years. But this is what we call a SMZ down here in the south. This is where they've left the timber on a creek running through our property, and they've cut both sides of the creek, but they've left about 100-yard strip on both sides of the creek here. And this is a spot that I've hunted, like I said, several times over the years. But I just wanted to come in here and look at it really quick. I wanted to look at a tree maybe that I could think about getting into when the acorns start falling a little more, probably around mid-October, late October. But there's a big white oak tree right here, a couple of other big white oak trees over here. But the thing that I like about this spot is, like I said, they've left some timber on each side of the creek here, but it necks up really tight about 100 yards to our north right here. And that's where the deer typically come from in the evenings. And they come right alongside this creek, and they kind of feed around these white oak trees as they're going into a bigger chunk of timber to our south. So it's just kind of a little transition area that I really like. I've had good luck here in the past, so I'm looking forward to seeing. It's really all dependent on how much the acorns are falling this year, how good this spot will be. We'll probably come in here and we'll put a camera up here in the next couple of weeks, just to see if there's anything using this area, if there's a mature buck using this area, and we'll kind of go from there. But I just wanted to turn the camera on and just kind of show y'all what this spot looks like. Like I said, there's a big white oak tree right here, and then you've got this kind of, it's almost kind of a bench right here that is kind of an elevation change that's flat right here before it falls off the creek that's about 60 yards in front of us. And then on this side we've got this ridge coming up, and we've got a bush hog trail that comes down the edge of the cutover here that we can just walk down, and we can slip into a tree really easy right here. And that's what I like about this spot, is it's got easy access, but it's a good, you can get right on the trail that the deer that usually come through coming down this SMZ. So this is a good spot. Just kind of wanted to show y'all a little bit of that. I've got a couple other spots that I may show y'all too, but I'm gonna get out of here, and I may knock some brush down and stuff just to kind of make the access a little bit easier, so we can come in here really quiet and then look for a tree that I want to get into. But this is a good spot. Here's another spot I wanted to show y'all that I've had really good luck with in the past, and this one's a little different than the other place we were just talking about, because like I said, this particular property, most of it is cut over. It's been clear cut, a lot of grown up clear cut that's really thick, a lot of bedding area, but you've got these SMZs that we were talking about earlier. However, we lease from a private landowner. This is not through a timber company or anything like that. So he had to say so whenever he cut this particular place. He left a lot of hardwood trees in select places, not everywhere of course, but this particular spot right here, he left a lot of his hardwood trees, some white oaks. You can see right here there's a big white oak, several other big white oaks back here, and this is the tree right here where I'm pointing at right here that I've actually hunted out of in the past. There's several other big white oaks along the edge of this bedding area right here, but he just left those, didn't want to cut those, and in turn it's kind of made a little isolation spot right here before it drops off into the SMZ. It's just a little isolated pocket of white oaks that, for whatever reason, man, this is just a killer spot to bow hunt. It's probably my favorite spot on the whole property as far as early season goes, because it's surrounded by thicket. The deer don't have to move very far at all, but when these acorns are dropping, this is one of the best spots on this whole property. And you know, I don't know whether it's because it's just this isolated pocket of trees. For whatever reason, I've gotten more buck pictures and had more luck in this spot during the early season with mature deer than I have anywhere else. And I think it's because this spot is a little more isolated. It's kind of it kind of stands out from the regular heavy trails that are along the SMZs and everything that a lot of the deer are taking. I think that those mature deer don't like to take those heavy trails sometimes. I think that they like to be by themselves. They like to take those different trails where they're sometimes away from the other deer. So I killed a mature deer here with my bow 2 seasons ago, and man, he walked right out of this thicket right here, about 30 yards away, and I shot him at about 25 right down this hill right here. So this is a good spot. I really like this spot, especially if the acorns are falling really heavy. But even if they're not, this seems to be a good travel corridor that the deer use, kind of a little transition area before they fall off into the main SMZ that runs along probably 100 yards from us right here. So already got the tree that I've climbed before. I don't have to limb up anything. We'll probably just come in here with my sticks and my lock on and just hang and hunt right here. I'll slip in this little bottom right here, come in here really quiet and hunt it. So that's another good spot right here.
If you liked this episode and want to follow along on our hunts, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we post and you can check out more of the Tecomate life.